is no greater demonstration of the power of harnessing markets to increase human thriving than we have seen in the last decades. But there are so many challenges to that hard-won progress. Economic growth has slowed. Debt crises abound. And even as people in emerging economies seek more energy to power their production, to light their homes, to educate their children, we and they are challenged by climate change and environmental sustainability.
Dealing only with poverty or the spreading of prosperity is inadequate to do unless you understand that it's impacted deeply by climate change, it's impacted by fragility, conflict, and violence, it's impacted by pandemics, it's impacted by food insecurity. And so trying to put these into neat buckets and deal with them separately is not going to work.
How do you actually get your employees to focus on driving the outcomes?
Most of it has to do with the governance model created by the way in which our shareholders operate. Some of it has to do with culture inside the bank, which is fed off that governance model. To change that from how many projects and how many dollars to how many girls went to school because of the project you funded, or how many people went to the Skilling Institute because of the project you funded, or how many carbon tons of emission you avoided, that's the output. The real measure I would love to get to is outcome, which is how many girls who went to that school ended up with a better life at the end of 15 years because of the education you got them.
When you are defining livable planet, there needs to be some valuation of what the planet is. There's some work going on out here, really amazing work, the Natural Capital Project, on valuing nature. Is there some metric that you're using on how to value nature so that you can actually invest in that regard?
No, not today. Not yet. That doesn't mean it shouldn't be, but not today. The thing about GDP is that everybody understands it and accepts it. You have to create measures that aren't controversial in the measurement itself. Otherwise, you create just enormous angst in getting your work done. So I'd love to get there, and if guys like you all can actually develop this and work with us on things of this type, and we could start creating a public forum where they get discussed, where they get parsed and looked at, and they start becoming acceptable, you would enhance our work many times over.